Here are two complex fractions that if you would like to write them down on your paper and pause the video and then do one or both of them, try them on your own, see how far you can get without needing my help. And then when you're ready, turn the video back on and I'll walk through the steps with you. Again, we can ignore the bottom piece for right now. And we say we're just going to worry about the top and see what happens when we find a common denominator and put those pieces together. Our two denominators here are y and x, and because neither of them factor, the best I can do is just multiply them together and call them xy. When I'm moving to write them over their common denominator, I need to multiply the top and bottom of the first fraction times x, multiply the top and bottom of the second fraction by y. So I end up with an x squared here and a minus 16y squared there. And because they're not like terms, when I put them together, the best I can do is write x squared minus 16y squared. Now this does factor. I'm going to see if I can squish that around my record button. We have a difference of two squares. 16y squared is 4y, that quantity squared, and of course x squared is x squared. So I like to factor in this step. If you want to wait till the next one, you honestly could. But again, I like to take that one as far as I can take it before I stop. When we come back here to the other one, the common denominator is the same. X times y, x times y. Also very similar to up above, I need the x on the bottom, so I have to put it on top as well. Here I need y on the bottom, so I have to put it on top as well. And when we combine the tops together, we get x minus 4y over xy. Once we're to that step, now we're ready to do our last division, which is multiplying by the reciprocal of the second one. So the top is x plus 4y over x minus 4y, times it over xy. If I flip the bottom fraction, I have xy and x minus 4y. When we start looking for things that go away, understand that yes, both the x and the y do go away, but officially those are separate items. So if there was only an x and not the y with it, one place or the other, the x's would still go, okay? Or the y's. Also x minus 4y, also gone from that, which means x plus 4y is all that's left. If I have a 1 on the bottom, I don't have to write it. If you tell me it's that stuff all divided by 1, that would be completely correct. Not necessary, but correct. But x plus 4y is all we have left there. This other one gets a little bit more involved, just in the algebra steps. X and x plus 2 are already factored. So when I'm building the common denominator, it's going to be the product of those. Now when I am starting with x plus 2 that's already there, I need to put another x plus 2 with it. Because down here, if I need to put an x plus 2, I can, as long as I put it upstairs as well. Here, I just need an x, top and bottom. So that's not bad. 1 times x. I'm going to hop down here because I'm about out of room already. Maybe I can sneak one step above. Here, I have to FOIL. And then combine that with the term on the right, which is just a plain old x. And when we combine those terms together, it looks like I have a total of 5x there. And I'm going to go ahead and cheat because of room. I'm going to go ahead and factor this because it factors. Okay. And there I'm done with the top. If I go to deal with the bottom as well, it turns out that common denominator is the same. It won't always be exactly the same. I know in the 203 examples we did, it was. But sometimes they're a little bit different. Usually they're related. Usually they have something in common. Okay, but not always. It's not always exactly the same. Okay, the 5 here needs to be taken times the x plus 2. And the x needs to be taken times another x. I'll be literal and write it that way. So when I distribute and combine like terms, there are no like terms. So I just have 5x plus 10 plus x squared. Okay. When I flip it and multiply, the x and x plus 2 comes to the top. I'm going to write it in a nicer order. I'm going to put the x squared out front and the 5x in the middle and the plus 10 at the end. So the x plus 2's are gone, those x's are gone, and x squared plus 5x plus 10 doesn't factor. It doesn't break down anymore. So on top I have x plus 4, x plus 1. On the bottom I have x squared plus 5x plus 10. And that's what my final answer is going to look like. Please understand that as we are working through these, you cannot start flipping things upside down. You cannot flip and multiply until you get to this step right here. Okay. I have to have a single fraction divided by a single fraction. Okay. While there are still, sorry about that, plus signs and minus signs, I cannot flip across a plus sign. I can't flip across a minus sign, just like I couldn't cancel across a plus or minus sign back a couple sections ago. Okay, we have to get them all the way combined to those 2 yellow circles before I can flip the bottom one upside down and start canceling things out. Okay, look through the book examples, play this video again if you need to. Okay, practice these.